Washington, D.C., August 22, 2025. Inside a museum-style exhibit called the People's House, just steps from the West Wing, a routine presidential tour collided with a breaking headline. Reporters pressed President Donald Trump about an FBI raid targeting his former national security advisor and now outspoken critic, John Bolton. The president's immediate response: he had not been briefed, he learned of it from television, and he expected the Justice Department to update him sometime today. From an immersive timeline of presidential history to the raw frictions of present-day politics, this story moved quickly and publicly. What we know at this hour is limited and sensitive. The FBI, bound by policy and practice, rarely discusses ongoing operations. The Department of Justice, which oversees the Bureau, typically keeps details sealed until filings appear in court or officials decide to speak. That leaves the public and the press to parse the president's remarks, the context around John Bolton's time in government, and the legal guardrails that apply to any federal search. At minimum, a raid requires judicial authorization, a warrant based on probable cause, and is scoped to specific materials, places, and timeframes. What agents sought, what they collected, and what legal theory supports the operation are not yet on the record. John Bolton is a known quantity in Washington. He served as National Security Advisor from 2018 to 2019, after earlier stints as a senior State Department official and U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. He is identified by allies and critics alike with a hawkish approach to national security, a posture that shaped debates on Iran, North Korea, Afghanistan, and beyond. His tenure in the Trump White House ended in a public split marked by profound policy disagreements and personal criticism. In the years since, he has published a memoir, offered pointed commentary on cable news, and become one of the president's most visible detractors on foreign policy. That history matters today because it frames the political temperature around any law enforcement action touching Bolton. The president, speaking to press during the tour, used sharp language to describe his former advisor's record and character, while also insisting he had not asked for details about the raid. He said he could be briefed, and even invoked his role atop the executive branch, but added that he prefers to keep distance and let the Justice Department do what you have to do. It is a notable juxtaposition, asserting ultimate authority while emphasizing operational arm's length, a line presidents of both parties have tried, sometimes awkwardly, to walk when sensitive probes intersect with politics. The stakes are obvious. Federal searches tied to senior political figures, past or present, are rare and consequential. They trigger questions about the legal threshold for probable cause, the internal vetting of high-profile warrants, and the institutional independence of the Justice Department. They also invite instantaneous political narratives. Supporters of the target often cite overreach or bias. Supporters of the search argue that no one is above the law and that the process should be allowed to unfold without interference. In this case, the added layer is the personal feud between the president and Bolton, a feud steeped in old policy battles, televised sound bites, and a best-selling book that documented their break. For viewers asking what happens next, there are a few key indicators to watch. First, any on-the-record communication from the Department of Justice or the FBI. That could be a short statement noting the search without elaboration, or more likely, continued silence pending court activity. Second, filings. If a court unseals documents, we may see the warrant, the property receipt, or affidavits outlining probable cause, though affidavits are often heavily redacted or remain sealed. Third, the response from Bolton or his legal team. Targets and subjects of federal searches sometimes confirm a search, criticize the rationale, or preview a legal response. From challenging the scope of a warrant to seeking the return of seized materials. And fourth, Congress. Senior lawmakers on oversight and intelligence committees could weigh in, calling for briefings or letters that demand answers while the investigation remains active. Legally, it is important to separate facts from assumptions. A search does not equal a charge. It signifies that a judge agreed there was probable cause to believe evidence of a crime would be found in the places searched. The bar is meaningful, but preliminary. Subsequent steps, interviews, document review, potential grand jury activity can take months. In some cases, a search yields no charges at all. In others, it becomes a turning point that leads to indictments. Until we see filings or hear from principals on the record, the prudent posture is cautious. Report what is verified, note what is unknown, and avoid drawing conclusions from absence of information. Politically, the White House is signaling two competing instincts: critique of Bolton and distance from the mechanics of the probe. The president's rhetoric toward Bolton is not new. It reprises long-standing attacks on temperament and judgment. The distance, however, carries institutional weight. It suggests an awareness that close coordination, or even the appearance of it, could inflame concerns about political influence over law enforcement. That is why his comment about being the nation's chief law enforcement officer sits alongside a professed preference not to be briefed in real time. The message, he can know, but chooses not to. Whether that stance holds if and when developments accelerate remains to be seen. There is also a broader context about how Washington processes events like this. Investigations with political overtones become litmus tests for institutional norms. Judicial oversight, prosecutorial discretion, respect for due process, and a press corps tasked with informing the public without outpacing the facts. Add the megaphone effect of social media, and narratives can calcify before documents surface. That is why, on a day like this, words matter. They set expectations, shape public perception, and can either cool the temperature or raise it. Tonight, the dividing lines are clear. A former senior official with a polarizing profile, a president who says he learned of a raid from television and expects a Justice Department briefing, and a capital city waiting for paperwork, statements, or both. If and when those arrive, we will scrutinize the scope of the warrant, the categories of materials agents sought, and any legal theories previewed in redacted affidavits. We will also look for responses from Bolton's counsel and from congressional leaders who oversee justice and intelligence matters. Until then, here is the headline as cleanly as we can state it. An FBI search has reportedly targeted a one-time national security advisor. The president says he was not briefed beforehand and prefers to keep operational distance. And the Justice Department, by design, is keeping its counsel. In a building dedicated to the story of the American presidency, this is the latest chapter, unfolding in real time.
As you know, the store from Waveview, you've had it for many years because we're starting construction of the ballroom.
And we have this wonderful People's House gallery, so that while the White House...
I want to thank you all, and I'll see you in 15 minutes, okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Been briefed on the FBI raid of John Bolton's home?
No, I don't know about it. I saw it on television this morning. I'm not a fan of John Bolton. He's a real sort of a lowlife. When I hired him, he served a good purpose because, as you know, he was one of the people that forced Bush to do the ridiculous bombings in the Middle East. Bolton, he wants to always kill people, and he's very bad at what he does. But he worked out great for me because every time he doesn't talk, he's like a very quiet person, except on television. If he could say something bad about Trump, he'll always do that. But he really doesn't talk. He's quiet. And I'd walk into a room with him with a foreign country, and the foreign country would give me everything because they said, oh no, they're going to get blown up because John Bolton's there. He could be a very unpatriotic guy. I mean, we're going to find out. I know nothing about it. I just saw it this morning. They did a raid.
Do you expect the DOJ to brief you on this?
Yeah, they'll brief me. Probably today sometime.
And the foreign minister...
I tell Pam and I tell the group, I don't want to know, but just you have to do what you have to do. I don't want to know about it. It's not necessary. I could know about it. I could be the one starting it. I'm actually the chief law enforcement officer. But I feel that it's better this way.